Hello, gang. I don't know if anybody's on yet. Bear with me just a minute. I all of a sudden realized I would like to have something else printed out, so I'm looking for it on my computer. I thought I did it in 2019, but it's possible I'll go all the way back to 2018. Hang on, I won't keep you holding much longer. All right, I'm not finding it. Let me look for by name, Jamie, J-A-M-I-E. Let's see if it brings it up. Nope. Oh, yes it did. All right. Bear with me, and now just a minute. I'm going to print out this as fast as I can. Good, that'll help. Well, hello. Are we here? We are. Hey, there's 7 people watching already. And Raven, good to see you, my friend. And Mando Diva, and Travis, hip hip hooray. All right. And I've got things to talk about today. That sounds like it should. This is Daily Art Adventure number 973. Notice that I've taken the liberty of taking the word daily and crossing it out there because I haven't done a broadcast in 9 days. Can you believe it? Anyway, this is rough sketches for a dream illustration. Ready, set, go. Let me turn you down in my ear a little bit. There we go. Good to be with you. I have missed doing these broadcasts very much, but before I get into that, let me move you. I stick my hand over your head like as if you're a hunting falcon, rendering you blind. You pointed the right way. Come on, that's not it. There we go. All right, paper. So this is an illustration for my old friend Jamie. Now, the only reason she's an old friend is because I did these little years ago. And once again, this is sort of like a dream. Is what I'm envisioning. So this is actually the 3rd one of these I've done for her, bless her heart. And she describes in this, so I just printed off my email for you, because I don't want to be looking at my computer while I'm broadcasting. So this is the email printed out, and then 2 illustrations, 1, 2. We're probably just going to deal with number 1 in this broadcast. Key issues, and then down on the list. So this is all what I call left side of the brain kind of stuff. Logical, linguistic, ordered, right? So that's the left brain work. I pull up a piece of blank paper. Oh, she also sent me a photograph that might help a little bit. I don't need to be influenced by that too much, but I printed it out. Oh, and here's this just in. Here is the one of the sketches I did for her a couple years ago. And this is her. It's not a, young lady of that shape and age. And this was the dream was, or the vision was, a path. She's walking down the path. She's blindfolded. She's about to step out. And as she's stepping, these stepping stones, if you will, are zipping into place. So they're going to catch each foot. They're going to zip into place and continue her path. So I find this, by the way, being me, where I'm coming from, I find this very interesting because I've done 2. Maybe I'll print out the other one too, just so I can. Yeah, sure. Let's do that. I like it. As some of you know, I'm I'm not a religious person. By the way, those of you who are not people of faith, I think you probably already know this, but those of us who are people of faith, the term religion is like a naughty word. I mean, it gives us the heebie-jeebies, gives us the creeps, because what we do is not at all religious. I could define religion for you, but that's for another time. I won't worry about it right now. But I find her dreams, to me, are quite obvious, the spiritual reality. So I have taken and will take the liberty of interpreting these dreams for her. One of the things I do, my wife and I do, is dream interpretation. So if anybody wants any dream interpretation, send it to me. And oh, Mando Diva, explain my two-brush method. Sure, I'd be glad to. Mano J. Bashar, I think someone as talented as you should be given appreciation. Oh, from India. Thank you, thank you. You're very kind. I appreciate that. All right, just for fun, then here's the other illustration that I did for Jamie a couple years ago. And this one, she is falling off a cliff, and somebody has caught her, but she doesn't. Okay? So, I mean, come on. To me, this is, see, this might come up later in the broadcast. I worship a God who's good and in a good mood. I thought often about doing a bumper sticker saying, "My God is happy, sorry about yours." Sorry, that's a little snarky for a nice Christian person, don't you think? So I've never done it, but I still think it's funny. My God is happy, sorry about yours. So it's she's not a Christian, or she's not a spiritual person. I think I'm safe saying that, but she has these very spiritual visions, and here are two of them, and they're both obvious to me that God is catching you. Anyway, and this next vision, next two are very similar to that. All right. So, the two-brush method. Yeah, let me talk about that real quickly. I started about 13 years ago forcing myself to use two hands. I wasn't sure why, but it seemed like the thing to do. I saw that, well, I heard that Leonardo da Vinci painted with two hands. And a light bulb came out of my head. I said, is anybody paying attention here? Leonardo da Vinci painted with two hands. Duh, why is not everybody painting with two hands? That was number one. The second was, I looked at old people. I said, as people get old, they lose parts. Arthritis, bursitis, stroke, they lose pieces. So I'm going to hedge my bet and train my left hand to paint so that if I lose my right arm, I can still paint with my left. All right? And I didn't realize what a significant improvement it would bring to my painting, because I paint with both. I feel like I paint with both sides of my brain. I paint looser, better, and faster. Looser, I don't have to say that. I paint better and faster with two hands. All right, now, and this is related to the way I'm holding the pencil, right? Instead of the control grip, which I will use later, I use the side saddle. It's essentially just hold the pencil like this, although I typically tuck it under my pinky, so I don't even have to hold it hardly. All right, so, and I want to, so this is rough sketch number one, if you're keeping score. Lake, a little bit of fog, so a little bit of distant shore, and a rowboat with Jamie facing toward us. Oh, wait a minute, I just started drawing the rowboat the wrong way, right? Anybody knows anything about rowboats? If you're rowing a boat, you're going backwards. The boat goes frontwards, but you're facing the back of the boat. That's the way rowboats work. I don't know if you know that or not, but, and the boats are kind of in the boat. I don't know, maybe one's dragging in the water a little bit. So, and the boat is drifting. So, oh, I know. Here's how you make it drifting. If it's not drifting, there'd be a V shape behind it, right? If the boat's moving, there'd be a V. But if it's not moving, it's just concentric ripples. That means it's not going anywhere, all right? And she's looking down, and she's tired. So shoulders down, but she's just got enough energy to pick up one hand and start reaching maybe for an oar. But she's looking at him like, what are these for? That's all the stuff that's written in the email that she sent me. Okay, so as you can imagine, it's a little bit intimidating, or I'm not sure what the word is. Like, what? How am I going to show all that? And the answer is, it's not my job to, so to speak, to get the interpretation all at once. It's my job, if you will, as the artist, to start working on it. And oh, the boat at a slight angle. Oh, there's a good idea. Just a slight, like she's leaning. You know, if you're in a boat, you can make it lean just by leaning back and forth. Oh, in the horizon, the edge of the sky, I mean, not sky, it's not an ocean, so just a lake. So the edge of the lake will be a horizontal, but going right through her head, that's a good idea. See, things like this just happen accidentally. It's not like you don't see it all at once. You just start scribbling and stuff happens. Oh, here's another one. The trees at the far side of the lake need to punch through the top of the illustration, right? Right. Why? Let me draw a bad sketch for just a second, because if I end up with a composition like this, boat, trees, sky, up here's sky, then the top boundary of my illustration is essentially one shape, one color, one image, all the way from left to right, all the way across. Whereas if you put some trees punching through the top of it, now it's three shapes: sky, dark trees, light sky. So that's a boundary number of 3. And 3 is better than 1. Okay? So that's why. And I didn't remember, honestly, I didn't remember till I pulled out these sketches that I had done these in charcoal. So I will do the next one in charcoal. And just a word about that. This is my quote-unquote charcoal sketch technique. Okay, since I've gotten that far into it, let me reach around here somewhere and find my charcoal kit. Oh, medium charcoal kit. I have small, medium, and large kits of charcoal stuff. So this is medium. Can you read that? And just what I'm just going to point out, my charcoal sketch technique consists essentially of starting out with vine charcoal and doing a rough sketch, whatever it means, with vine charcoal. And then without erasing that, without doing anything to it, I follow up with charcoal pencil. Extra soft, good enough. So then with charcoal pencil, I draw or refine whatever it is that I've drawn in other words, the vine charcoal is a very loose illustration. No erasing, no correcting, just scribble. Get it down. And then I make corrections with the charcoal pencil. You with me so far? This is used for years. And then I take tissue already used and basically wipe it off. And what happens, just like that, with different directional strokes. What has happened here is the vine charcoal has disappeared. It's turned into smears. Get it? You can see it very faintly, right? But it's essentially disappeared, and all that's left is the charcoal pencil. Then I didn't realize I was going to give you the demonstration, but sure, this is good and fast. And finish by doing more drawing with charcoal pencil and shading with whatever I want, charcoal pencil and tortillon or blending stub, whatever you want to call it, and erasing. So this is just I mean, there's a lake with some trees, sure, but I wasn't planning to do a representational. And then finish up with some careful erasing. And I should have around here somewhere. Nope, it's not in medium charcoal. It doesn't have a brush, so I'll just use this one. Brush is a very handy thing. It doesn't have to be this big. It's a very handy thing to have around when you So that's the technique. Get it? Fine charcoal, followed by charcoal pencil, smeared, nice big marks so you get these nice streaks. See, that's vital. And it also gives you a halftone effect. And then details with charcoal pencil and finishing details Let me pull up a copy, a print. So now perhaps, do you see this streak right here? And there's another one here. I hope you can see those. Well, now you understand where those came from. I did a charcoal and then took a tissue and smeared it, making nice marks. So I don't smear it like this. See, that would be an ugly mark. Now I smear it by making, I make nice marks by smearing it with large strokes. Yeah, same thing here. Real strong on this one. See that right there? See those marks? Now you know how they're made. And see, I think they look nice. And then you can see how I took it and erased this, and then even made little hints of grass and so forth, and so forth, and so on and so on. So anyway, there you go. That's that's my charcoal sketch technique. I also have a charcoal technique, what I call charcoal drawing technique, and that's where I use every trick, every tool in the book, every trick in the book. Charcoal powder, brushes, blenders, erasers of every kind to create essentially a photorealistic look. So there you go. So that's for another day. If you want to see some of my charcoal drawings, you can go to dannelsonart.com, click on illustrations, and then look for I think it's a charcoal album, and the pictures flit by. All right, let's go back now to a rough sketch. So that's how I'm going to do the final, but in the meantime. So there's sketch number one. One of the things I did learn, oh, there's another good tip. The edge of this oar, just going out, touching the edge. All right, teaching point number two. Oh, you guys are talking up a storm. Thank you. Hey, David. Uncle, can I draw with two hands? Yeah, not very well. Sorry about the song. No, all these drawings, they predate COVID-19 completely. These were done in 2018. And I don't think this one has anything to do with COVID either. But I just discovered this right here, having one of the oars go off the picture. Again, sort of accident. I didn't really do it on purpose, but then I saw it and said, oh, wait, that's a good idea. Brings up another topic. Let me do another lecture really quickly. Lecture, do you like that word? I use the word donut hole for a couple different things, so you have to be careful. But one of the most common concepts for me of the donut hole, and donut hole is a bad thing, okay? So it's a frowny face. Donut hole, bad thing. Donut hole is anytime you're doing a painting or illustration, in this case, where you have an area of high energy, high visual energy, also, in this case, high psychological, PSY, also high psychological energy, and it's entirely surrounded inside the boundary of the frame, the edge of the paper, the edge of the canvas. It's entirely surrounded by low energy. Okay, this is a donut hole, and it's bad. We do not like this. This gives us a bad feeling. So the solution is make sure that some little part of the high energy escapes somehow and intersects the edge of the canvas or the edge of the paper, whichever the case may be. Okay, and then just that little bit eliminates the donut hole. So there you go. Doggone, I'm being better than I thought today. I thought I wouldn't have anything to say. It's just a silly, simple sketch, but I've already come up with a couple good things to say. Hey, TRC450, and also some friend from Eastern Europe, either Russia or Romania or Latvia, or you can tell us where you're from if you speak English. So let's do another rough sketch, based on some of the things I learned. Some of the things I learned, quote unquote. Sure, I did learn them, but some of the things I discovered, stumbled upon. One is having the boat at a slight angle. That's just more interesting. Another is having the edge of the lake go right through Jamie, the woman's. A couple years ago, when I had the chance to do some figure drawing stuff, you know, live model figure drawing, I actually did, just for fun. It was new to me at the time, but I did actually draw with two hands. In fact, I would put a different color, you know, Conte crayon or chalk or charcoal or something in each hand, and so that I could keep track of what was drawn with my left, what was drawn. That was fun. So I can, but it's like my painting world where I'm standing up at an easel is slightly different from my illustration world where I'm sitting down at like this at a drawing table, if you will. I like the idea of one of the oars. I don't know if that goes along with what she said, but I like the idea. And of course the oars have these little, I forget what they're called. There's a name for the little U-shaped metal thing or something that could be wood, I suppose. But okay, and she's supposed to look tired, so head down slightly, shoulders down, so she's not reaching with great energy. And the ripples indicate the boat's not moving, whereas if it was moving, there'd be, you know, V-shaped wake out behind the boat. So you can see the difference between sketch number 1 and sketch number 2. This one I'm playing around with a more close-up vision, and I don't know which of these will end up being, you know, the better rough sketch. I'll probably, the way I typically work with a client is I'll typically send them 2 or 3, sometimes 4. I'm just grabbing a blending stub that's already been used, so I don't know what's on it. I just am assuming I can get some gray off it. Yeah, got a little bit. I'll send them 2, 3, or 4 sketches and probably label them either ABC or 1, 2, 3, and give them some choices, some options, so she can get back to me and say, oh yeah, I kind of like. And very often what happens, the client will get back to me and say, well, you know, I kind of like the woman in B, but I like the trees in A, and so on and so forth. And of course, and I encourage that kind of thinking. Let's. In the first one, I didn't do any thinking about values at all. So let's do a little bit of thinking. I have the impression that it's kind of a scene, kind of foggy, and we better decide, hadn't we? We'd better decide which way the light is coming from. I'm coming up with something already without even trying, and that was, okay, oblique light. First of all, light from the side is, here's a general rule of thumb, light from the side is always better than light from the front or back. I mean, you can have people backlit, and that can be real dramatic and difficult, more difficult to render, but it just dawns on me just suddenly that, oh wait, oblique side light would be probably a little more dramatic, a little more interesting. Certainly not front light. That would be the most boring, right? And she suggested that it be slightly foggy, misty. So if we end up with this kind of lighting, then in my mind, if it's slightly foggy, then clearly the foreground water will be dark and everything lighter as we go back. So the trees may not be any darker than that right there. So all of this, maybe it's, I don't know if it's interesting or instructive. I hope it is. I think if anything, it's just, this is the way at least one artist thinks, how I think when I'm shooting, you know, completely blank. Oh, let me show you another trick. So let's say I get, which of these is better, first of all? I like the tighter one slightly better. But I may very well do a version of this and this and send it to her so she has that. She can give her, because she might like the isolation of this one a little bit more, you know, show more around it that this person is like alone. They don't have somebody in a nearby fishing boat or something. All right, but here's a trick, and this is very useful to me. Turn the page over, and this, complete with all kinds of marks on it, is a light table. So I turn on, and now I can see the rough sketch from the back. So I see a mirror image, a flopped image, and I always see things differently. In fact, let me turn off, there we go. I always see different things. Could the boat be tilted the other direction? My answer is no. I don't think it can. I don't think it could. I don't think that would be good. And again, I'm not talking about a drastically in this case. If it's a typical rowboat, by the way, it's got a wooden panel here on the back where you would attach. Oh, I know. How about her other arm? Making her lean a little bit more. Again, the feeling, going back to left brain stuff, this instructions, right? Me beginning to reach for the oars with a look as if to say, what are these for? I should look tired, broken. Okay, so that's the left brain version, the linguistic, logical side of what I'm doing. So she's just starting to reach for the oar, one of the oars. Oh, this is good. Okay, so I'm having moments of discovery. Did you hear that? All of a sudden, she's not sitting in the middle of the boat. She's shifted off to the side, which is, it now explains why the boat is tipping. It won't tip over. It's not, that's not, you know, a rowboat is not like a canoe. You can lean a rowboat without too much hazard. But off center in the boat, okay, so I'm going to say that was a stroke of genius, but you understand I didn't make it up, right? I didn't say, oh, I know, it would be brilliant if I drew her off center. No, I was just drawing, I was just scribbling, and all of a sudden she turned the drawing. So there you go. That's part of this. For me, that's part of the magic of rough sketches. Is the illustration itself suggests things to your mind. It's a real funny, and I'm a big believer in that. I do tons of this, of course, in my painting. Okay, this oar going off the page. I do tons of this, of allowing the painting to suggest things to me. So I am not the master of the universe when I'm painting. I'm an explorer. I'm a discoverer. Things happen, so to speak. Things happen on the canvas, or in this case, on the paper, that I didn't see coming. So that was I think that's good. Have her off center of the boat. Why? Because there's a little disorientation there. Now, I'm looking at the trees going off. I think I'm gonna change my mind. I'm gonna think it'd be better if the tree going off the page was opposite. See, there's more energy here, right? So I want to bring a little more energy to this side of the canvas by moving this tree up there. That's all. All right, now let's turn that light off. Turn these lights on. There we go. And then so this is, in a sense, we won't count this. This was me giving a lecture. So I've got sketch number 1, sketch number 2, and sketch number 3, but 2 and 3 are really the same thing, just flopped. So if I were to send these to Jamie, you know, this might be option A, and this might be option B. Another thing for me to think about, by the way, is would it be better if the woman was looking to our right or looking to our left? Nothing strong is coming to my mind. I like this. Yeah, I don't know why. This to me feels more consonant. That means it fits in with the way, like the way that we read. You know, as Americans, or as English, I mean, not Hebrews, who read the opposite way, but as English speakers, Western, we read from left to right. So in a way, this feels, you do have to think about these things, that this feels consonant. It fits in. And I think I like her actually going against the grain, if you will. So at the moment, I'm feeling like this is better, but this is better drawing because I made several improvements and corrections. So I'm going to develop this one a little bit more. It's possible that, oh my goodness, my time's almost gone. I've got an appointment at noon, and it's just 15 minutes from now, so I'll be dashing out of here pretty quickly. It's possible that this very sketch could be the one that I send to my client, or it's also possible that I might do one more version of it and clean it up a little bit. That's at the moment that's an undecided. Okay, I don't know which of those it's going to be. I sort of think this is going to be clean enough. And it depends, by the way, very often it depends on the client, depends who it is you're doing the artwork for, because people vary quite widely in their ability I'm reading your comments again. Bordikai asked a very good question. Let me get back to that in a second. Does the background count? Yes and no. No. The issue is high energy. That means texture, color, value, and psychological energy. So if you do a drawing like I was doing, and here's a rowboat, high energy, but you have trees that are going back. Do it? Probably not, because the trees are much, much lower energy than this. Do you see? By the way, here's another example of the don't hold danger, is when you do a portrait. Here's a man in a hat, beard, glasses, nose. Okay? High energy. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to take the man's hat and drag it way out here. That's ridiculous. No. But what you are going to do is you're going to take the shadow behind him. So that is background. But so this is kind of a unique area. You have to find some way to take energy. The key word is energy. The key word is not, is it front background or front ground? Is it up front or back? The key issue is energy. You have to take something from the center to the edges. And of course, in the case of a portrait, you're not going to make his nose go off the edge. So you have to do something. You could do a close-up and make the edge of his hat, but and again, not all portraits are supposed to be filled. Not all portraits should fill the entire canvas, so that's unique. Anyway, thanks for asking that good question. I don't know if I answered it or not, but that's a quick attempt. Okay, play of light, as you all know, if you watch me at all, the most important aspect of any painting or drawing is play of light. Now, this is a misty, foggy day, so the play of light that's going to happen in this particular illustration is going to be atmospheric. It's going to be fuzzy. Even the far end of the boat is likely to be softer than the front edge. See, that would give us a little dramatic light or atmospheric effects, even though, like, there's not going to be a ton of sunlight in this. There's not going to be light glistening off the water and all that kind of stuff, because by Jamie's request, again, part of the instructions are misty, foggy, melancholy kind of feeling. So keep that in mind. All right, gang, you know what? I'm going to stop right here because I need to talk to y'all for a minute. Hang on, just give me a minute. And again, I've got an appointment at noon today, which is about 10 minutes from now, so I just have a few minutes. I'm going to change this camera and point it at me. That's enough art teaching for the moment. All right. Am I on? I am. Face to face. And who's watching? How many are watching? Okay, good. Fair number of people are watching. I have a surprise announcement. It's a surprise to me. I could say I'm as surprised as anybody, although technically that's not true because I know me and better than you do. But I am surprised at the timing. I'm surprised that this is happening. You want the world. No, I'm not pregnant. I'm changing careers. For the last 16 years, I've been a full-time artist. I've been, as you know, especially you regulars, I've been busting my buns. I've worked hard. Many of you have often said, wow, you're the hardest working artist I know, blah, blah, blah. So just the point is, I've been working hard for 16 years. Didn't see this coming. I'm changing careers at age 66 and a half. Even more surprising than that, not only am I changing careers, now let me stop right there and say, whoa, whoa, whoa. I will continue to do artwork. It just won't be at the same frequency, intensity, money making as it has been. I won't be quite as driven. So I'll continue to do daily art adventures. I should really change the name to Art Adventures. No, I'm going to still keep calling them daily art adventures, okay? But they just won't be quite as daily. Sorry about that. I have loved this season. I've been very content. I thought I was going to continue to be a full-time artist till I was 97 and a half, give or take. Maxfield Parrish did his last painting when he was 95. Woohoo! I want to outdo Maxfield Parrish. We'll see. Good luck with that, huh? Anyway, I'm not only changing careers, I'm actually changing skill sets. So I will be a musician. Now, you guys did get a little hint of this because every time I did a tirade, every time I went off, one of my rants, one of my philosophical rants, one of the things I would say, because some of you would say to me, you know, stick to your artwork, you're good at art, you know. And you've heard me, if you're regular, you've heard me say often, yeah, well, really, I'm a philosopher who paints. I'm not a painter who philosophizes. Well, guess what? I'm going back to full-time philosophy. It's quote unquote. I'm going back to full-time preaching, teaching, influencing, writing. I'll do art on the side. Now here's, again, if you're picturing the typical traditional parson in a suit who stands behind a pulpit, none of that is me. The spiritual dynamics might be similar, but the visuals are not at all. In fact, one funny way to describe is I'll be doing, at least in the near future, I'll be doing the great majority of my preaching, quote unquote, through music. Minute, but for the last 12 weeks, my wife and I have been leading a group in a parking lot, outdoors, in the heart of downtown Raleigh. This came about because of coronavirus and all that means, all that's done to our country, and because of the riots and demonstrations. In a sense, you could say we are rioting and demonstrating, but for a different God, okay? For the God of love and peace, and construction rather than destruction, the God of redemption rather than the God of revolution. I could go on, you know I could. But of the 12 weeks, Sunday mornings, so we've got about 50 people at the moment, and steadily growing. We're not trying to start a church. We don't even want to come up with a name for what we're doing. Really, I'm serious as I can be. We don't even want a name, because as soon as you name it, it begins to die. As soon as it has a name and people say, yeah, we belong to. Watermelon Valley. That's ours. It's a W. We got a logo and a business card and a website. It's called Watermelon Valley. There's no such thing as your name, but as soon as you get a name, you get a little identity, it starts to go bad. So we're going to push off having a name as long as possibly can. We can't push it off forever because our detractors will name us whether we name ourselves or not. So, and that's fine with me. Whatever our detractors call crazy people would be a pretty apt description. Crazy people in a parking lot. CPIAP. Of the 12 weeks we've met, I have done anything that could be described as preaching precisely one time. I am the musician. Now that's weird too, and that would take a lot of description. We'll talk about this more as the months and years go on. We don't know how long it's going to last. Two funny things have happened. Number one, my art income has absolutely tanked. Some of you saw me doing my my abstract stuff a couple weeks ago. It was a complete bomb. Maybe you know that. No bids, no money at all. I had a few bids, and I said no, it's not worth it to me. They're worth more to me as a set of 20 paintings than they are selling just a couple of them. So, hello, Ruth from Colorado. Wear the tuxedo. Yeah, that's right. I might. So we started about 12 weeks ago. My wife and I had no idea. Didn't even cross our minds. I mean, it wasn't even a ghost of any thought of remuneration or money. Not even close. But we had these at first, 20, then 30, then 40 people, and some of them start saying, "Hey, we want to give an offering." Okay, so that's just because that's a universal impulse among worshipers. When worshipers worship, whichever God they're worshiping, they typically want to give. They're not primarily giving to me, although they say, no, we want you to take this money, do whatever you want with it. Now, of course, we'll have to set up for the IRS and for the government. We'll have to set up jump through some hoops so we don't get in legal trouble. But I mean, these people right now, they're just giving us gifts. But if they want a tax refund, then of course we have to just have a treasure, in which we do. But anyway. So anyway, two things have happened, and this decision was not based on money, believe me, but it was part of it that my art income, I haven't made 1 red cent in about 5 or 6 weeks, not a penny. That has never happened in my art world, ever, nothing close. Haven't made a penny in 5 or 6 weeks. That's weird. And at the same time, we have people giving to us freely and generously and saying, here, take this, do whatever you want with it, pay your bills with it. So that's weird. That is weird. Back to the music thing. Most of my preaching, so to speak, most of my spiritual war, my spiritual stuff is done by playing instruments. When I set up my equipment, and it is quite the equipment, I'm surrounded by the mother of all pedal boards, or some of you who know kind of what that means. I'm surrounded by a virtual submarine full of buttons. I counted one time. I think there's 225 buttons that I'm surrounded by. All these electronics, which it's just making up for musical weakness on my part. It's compensating. At the same time, I'm surrounded by 50 play 50 instruments. I play essentially 5 or 6. Trumpet, guitar, flutes and whistles, harmonica, saxophone. That's it. So basically, wind instruments and guitar. So, but I play guitar, so I have 4 of them in a ukulele. So that's 5 instruments. Get it? I play whistles, like Celtic whistle, penny whistle, whatever you want to call it. So I have, 20 of those. That's why I have 50 instruments. A trumpet and a flugelhorn. There's 2, and I'm coveting at the moment. I have a tenor sax. I'm coveting a soprano sax. In my mind, all of these instruments are like weapons of war. They're made for spiritual warfare. Not to freak you out too much, but I believe that when I play my instruments, I actually have the ability. I'll just try to use secular language here, not freak you guys out too much. I have the gifting has been given to me to shift the spiritual atmosphere. That's essentially what I do. I play a chord, and everybody takes a breath. We don't sing a song. I mean, sometimes we sing a song, but not very often. Like if we meet for 2 hours on a Sunday, we'll sing 1 or 2 songs generally. But all different people come to the microphone. My wife holds the mic. My wife does a lot more preaching than me, by the way, in this season. That's pretty funny, because I have always been a preacher, and she's been the nice preacher's wife playing the piano. You know, now our roles are reversed. She's talking, and I'm playing. That's hilarious. Anyway, that's probably enough information. But surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise. So I will continue to do our work, and I will continue to broadcast art adventures whenever I can. They just won't be quite as daily. I do expect, by the way, to continue to get better as an artist. In fact, I feel like the Lord told me that. By the way, it's another bumper sticker. My God talks. Sorry about yours. Snarky, snarky, man. Mean preacher, mean preacher. So I honestly believe the Lord says things to me. And one of the things he said is your art will continue to improve, just as your music improved, even though you're a full-time artist. So the reverse will be true. So anyway, there you go. Nobody's saying much. I've freaked you all out and you're gone silent on me. I don't blame you. But I do look forward to being back. I do look forward to broadcasting more. I don't know how much will change. Not too much. We'll still have fun together, but it probably just won't be as often, because I'm not probably. Now all this could change, by the way. In 3 months, I might say I'm back. Okay, that's God's business, not mine. I'm just going to take it a day at a time. All right, but I'm time out. Time for my meeting that I've got to have. It took me a long time to get that word meeting out, didn't it? My brain is going too at the same time. My mind is going. I rebuke that thought. All right. Bless you guys. Thanks for listening to this. I'll be talking about it more as the days, weeks, months go on, I'm sure. All right. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.